Used car prices fall again in April, down nearly 17% from pandemic highs, which is awesome news to see. Vehicle prices continued a downward trend in April, with the new car market slipping and used prices sliding the most of any major category in the Consumer Price Index over the last year, as the car market stabilizes after runaway price increases during the pandemic. And that's amazing news to hear, that used car prices are going down because pretty much everyone needs a car for work, transportation, life, etc., etc. But there is a bit of a catch here. While the used car prices themselves are going down, everything that comes with actually owning a car, those costs are skyrocketing. But first, let's talk about the used car prices. This is the Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers in relation to used cars and trucks at a US city average. And if we look here, from, let's pick some dates, 2010 to 2024, we can see, and this is done as a percentage, by the way. So it's indexed to 1982 to 1984 is 100. So this means at 143, it means that it is 43% higher than it was, because 1982 is 100 and anything above that is more than that. And as you can see here, during the pandemic, there was an insane jump as there were supply chain issues, so car prices skyrocketed to 116% more than they were in 1984, and also going from 143 to 216 is an absolutely insane, like 70% increase in the price of cars. But as you can see, it's been coming down, and that's pretty exciting to see. It's been dropping, as we can see, with the prices at these index. And for the specific prices, we can look over here. This is Car Gurus, so let's put in those same date ranges. And as you can see here, since January of 2016, car prices were slowly and surprisingly coming down a little bit, within a huge spike during the pandemic as all the supply chain shut down and cars were very hard to purchase. And they hit their high around here at an average of $31,618. And since then, they have come down pretty significantly, from $31,000 down to about $27,000 where they are now. And there's been a tiny increase here, but this is basically just one source from Car Gurus and the cars that they have sold. But it gives you a good idea overall that the used car market is coming down, and that's pretty awesome to see. What's less awesome to see is that the prices of everything else are going up pretty significantly. So the actual purchasing of the car is cheaper, but everything that goes into ownership is a lot more expensive. Specifically, I'm talking about gas prices, maintenance and repair, and also car insurance. It's like being happy that printers are cheaper, and then realizing the cost of printer ink has tripled or quadrupled, so realistically the whole experience of owning a printer is more expensive than it's ever been. And the first major price increase we get to talk about is gas prices, which I know everyone always talks about and politicizes, but I'm just here to give you the numbers on how much gas costs in the past few years. US regular, all formulations for gas prices, and looking from early 2016, it was about $1.70. And now looking where we are now, it's about $3.60-ish. So gas prices have basically doubled, and that's a pretty significant amount of money that you're now losing to gas prices. And what makes this even worse is the fact that household income in that same time period has not gone up anywhere near enough to reasonably cover these gas prices and for you to have actually experienced a pay raise. For example, 2016, and this is inflation adjusted dollars pegged to 2022. 2016 inflation adjusted household income was just about $71,000 and went up quite a bit. But then in the past few years, it's slowly been trending down when it's inflation adjusted to where it is now at $74,000. So from 71 to 74.5, you've got about a $3,500 increase, which comes out to between $250 and maybe $300 a month extra in your paycheck, which is great, except with gas prices having increased so much, if you've got a longer commute, very reasonably, most if not all of that money is going towards this wildly inflated gas price. So you might not actually be experiencing more money in your day-to-day life because even though you're earning more, you also have to spend more just to survive. Also, if you enjoy this kind of daily dive into news and business and finance updates, I post 3 to 5 times a week, and I'd love a subscription. Now, the second part of car ownership that's gone up significantly is the cost of maintenance and repair, and it's pretty hard to find specific numbers on this, but what I did find was this, the average cost of car maintenance in 2024 estimates. And if we scroll down, we come across this graph right here, which is pulled from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, and we can see what the average cost of vehicle parts is over the last 10 years, and once again, we've seen a tremendous spike from around 140 to 180 where it sits now roughly. And if we scroll down here, we can come across this graph that is directly from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, and it's the cost of vehicle parts over the past 10 years. Combined factors of availability of vehicle parts and inflation have caused a steady increase in the cost of vehicle parts over the last 10 years. And for a while, this is an index, and I'm not sure what year it's pegged to, but it's sitting at around 140. Then from 140, it spikes up to 179.76, or basically 180. That is a 40 percentage point increase in the cost of vehicle parts, and that's just in the last 4 or 5 years. Now, I couldn't find a reasonable graph or chart in what the increase in the cost per hour of mechanic labor is to actually put these parts into your car, but I would bet pretty much any amount of money that has gone up very significantly as well. And the final piece of car ownership that we have to talk about that's gone up significantly, and I'm sure you're aware of this, is car insurance. Car insurance rates had their biggest annual jump in 47 years. This is why. Across the United States, the cost of car insurance is up 19% compared to a year ago, according to August's Consumer Price Index report published on Wednesday. That's the biggest annual increase since 1976. That is both a tremendous jump and also a pretty concerning one. Now, there are lots of different reasons for that. I've done a video on it. CNBC has also covered it pretty well on videos on their YouTube channel that you should absolutely go check out. But as for the specific numbers, you can see here, looking from, let's just say 2008 to 2022, which is actually where it looks like this chart ends. We can see in 2008, the expenditure vehicle for all consumer units, and I believe this is probably per year. As you can see, it stayed pretty steady from 2008 to about 2016, not changing very much. Then it dropped pretty significantly in 2016. And then look what happens. It goes from less than $1,000 to almost $1,600 per year. Again, that's a tremendous amount of money that you're having to spend on your car that you may or may not actually have because your real median wages are going down. Now, I wanted to give you the bad news along with the good news so that you have all the facts and can make an informed decision. For example, the Biden administration is probably going to claim that used car prices dropping is a win. And to be clear, it is a win. Used car prices were way higher than they needed to be for a multitude of reasons, including supply chain issues and companies like Carvana buying them all up to try and resell them at a higher price. Car debt is crazy high, so if people are not having to take out as large of loans, that could help them in other parts of their life. There's lots of reasons that car prices coming down is a very good thing for most middle and lower class people. But there's more to the story, so I want you to be informed so that knowledge is your friend. When people talk about car prices coming down, you can say that is true and that is good. But it's not that simple. Almost nothing in this economy exists in a vacuum. And for every victory like this, there's a cost and a flip side and a consequence with things like the gas price, the insurance price, and also the cost of repairs and maintenance. Knowledge is your friend, so just know these things. Thanks for watching.